The pineapple tooth was seriously worn out between the flowers, which caused the speed controller to not work properly. There are no separate accessories for sale in Pakistan. The owner sent it to a nearby repair shop and asked the master to repair the worn flower sword. After a careful inspection by the master, he indicated that the flower sword groove could not be repaired at all and he could take the owner to the scrapyard to try his luck. After a long journey of 500 meters, Fu also found the scrapyard of his old cousin. The cousin immediately said that he would pick anyone in the corner. After the master scanned it anxiously, he immediately picked a scrap pineapple paper. However, the teeth were seriously worn out and the intact flower sword end was hard to come by. Fu immediately said that he would still record it and settle it in a unified manner at the end of the year so as not to delay the use of the car. The owner also closed the electric car and returned to the repair shop in 10 seconds. In order to replace the selected pineapple tooth, Fu had to cut and weld the spline end to ensure that the length of the pineapple tooth splicing would not change and the strength of the welding could meet the use requirements. After clarifying the specific repair plan, first, the owner's pineapple teeth need to be processed. Since the spline end needs to be completely replaced, the hardness will be reduced again, so the master intends to directly cut and remove the flower sword groove. The whole position is docked under the condition of reducing the external seam. Because the hardness of the pineapple teeth is very high, the master also needs to use acetylene to heat and anneal. To achieve the purpose of reducing the hardness, their rowing knife is like a pin and iron. The original worn flower sword groove has disappeared very quickly. In order to make the docking flower sword end stronger, the father has to reduce the original outer diameter to half. Only in this way can the two reach a balanced proportion. After the master confirms the outer diameter of the cutting with a caliper, the surface needs to be processed with rowan outer threads. The main purpose is to increase the splicing strength by virtue of the bite between the rowans. Under the master's skilled and fast operation, the outside also needs to use a wrong knife to remove the hair to prevent the subsequent twisting from being hindered. The pineapple teeth selected by the scrap station need to be replaced. Although it is already scrap, its hardness has not decreased at all. Therefore, the master also needs to use Yang Yuan to deactivate it. In this way, the efficiency of cutting can be increased. When the flower sword end needs to be completely cut off, the master must determine the cutting point of this pineapple tooth based on the previous data. This is also the key to restore the length after splicing. Then replace their high-end cutting knives. Cut and separate. Even if this pineapple pool has been scrapped, it can squeeze out its last value in Pakistan. After the master simply processed the cut surface, the original rowan end did not slip. Therefore, the master still needs to remove this rowan end. The splicing of one place can make the pineapple paper more complete. With the help of the handsaw, the thread end is also kicked out quickly. In the case of a fixed outer diameter of the previous threaded outer thread, this section of the flower sword end needs to be punched to achieve the purpose of hole docking. Since the entire hole diameter needs to occupy half of the diameter, the drill bit with the label must be constantly replaced when drilling. The center hole position is slowly expanded to completely penetrate the flower sword end. At this time, the hole diameter cannot meet the use requirements. It is necessary to continue cutting and expanding the hole with the inner hole knife. The scene is the basis for processing until there is no error in the data of the two. The butt joint of the free rowan will still have clearance. After the master used a caliper to compare the hole mirror and found it correct, he could cut the inner wall of the hole according to the previous threading data to eliminate the threading thread of the hole. Although they did not have a high-end threading gauge, such a threading tool was a piece of cake for their level 8 skills. At the same time, this section of the flower sword end was also processed very quickly to meet the use requirements. Then the flower sword end was tightened through the rowan. The master twisted it very smoothly. 330 for the process of joining also went very smoothly. Afterwards, the necessary groove was cut at the joint. The main purpose was to allow the welding rod to have a larger welding area. After the master finished welding the crack in one breath, the raised welding bar affected the normal installation. As for the welding bar surface, it still needed to be cut flat and smooth to restore the original exterior data. With the welding reinforcement on this side, the gap at the end of the text also needed to be fully welded by the welding rod. Both ends could bear the force. After the master's simple but test, this worn flower sword pineapple for Ophir has been spliced and repaired. It's really amazing.